I punished you, I made you hungry. And then, Vayachilchos Hamon, I gave you the mon, which, what do you call it? In other words, that filled you, it saved you, right? Okay. Later on, it says, Amachil Chamon Bamidbar, and I've told you in Pasuk Tezayin, I fed you money in the midbar, Asher L'Elav said, L'man HaNoischon, in order to punish you, L'man HaSeisecha, and to test you, L'Titchva Chisecha. So is man a test, a punishment, or it was a savior of punishment? So I think it depends on the attitude. Or it's the same thing, if you want to put it. The midbar. You're supposed to be learning Torah, right? So why are you learning Torah? And so I fed you mon. Why? Because you weren't working, you didn't have any money, you didn't have any things, you were hungry, I gave you food. It's wonderful. But the second time, on the second side, the other side, what comes out is, I have nothing to do. Take someone that's not learning. What am I doing? Oh, well, you have to prepare food. You don't have to do that. I need clothes. You don't have to do that. I need planting things. You don't have to do that. There's nothing you have to do. So therefore, it shows you that there's nothing in the world that is important for you to do. And I want to do. It's not I want to learn. I don't want to learn. I want to do. So then all of a sudden you find that life is a punishment. It's to teach me there's nothing for you to do. We don't need you. The only thing we need you for is to learn, and that you don't want to do. That's the differences. But for the Reuven, originally that's what he was, is that he thought he was a savior. I was hungry. I was learning all the time. I was this. No one prepared lunch for me. You got them on. No one took care of it. Then tells me an interesting thing. Your clothes never spoiled or rotted or your feet never swelled. What does that mean? Now, it's normally this things how you need it at different times. They're different than food. When do you buy a suit? When my suit is wearing out, right? It's a little old-fashioned, right? But as long as, let's say, it's in top style and it's in top condition, I don't need a suit. So every morning, the Anani HaKavod washed your clothes. You went to sleep in it. When you got up in the morning, it was fully pressed and fresh and everything else. And you worry it's not wrinkled, no wrinkles, nothing in it. And but yesterday I was a little kid, and therefore I had this style. All of a sudden I have a different style. I mean, like you have what it means is because you don't find they ever made clothes in the mid-world. You grew into it as you kept going. So what happens when a kid was born, we put him on a onesie, and then that onesie kept growing and changing its style and kept saying this, and now it's a three-piece suit. And now it's it all started off as a onesie. When it started as that clothes, that's how it changed, but it changes day to day. So you don't really notice it, however that means. I don't know exactly. Obviously, there's sometimes it's going to make a big difference. But most times it's very small differences. So as long as it fits the parameter of looking nice and fresh, and this, I never have to change it. Same thing goes with my feet. I walk and walk and walk. When do I sit down? When I get tired. If I don't get tired, I won't sit down. So I can keep going as far as I can go. As long as God doesn't make me tired, I can keep going. Food is different. Food you eat before you're hungry. And that's the part that a person has the problem with. In other words, when I sat down to eat, I can't say that Moshe Rabbeinu Taka, we find such a thing, that he didn't eat. Eliyahu had to eat, but he ate only once for the 40 days. And somehow he was always full, something like that. But he had to eat. A regular person, he eats before he's hungry. In other words, when you sit down to breakfast, you're not really hungry. You're not starving. Oh, I didn't eat since last night, and I'm starving. You're not starving, right? Be another hour for breakfast, big deals. Be another hour for breakfast. But once I sit down, oh, we got pancakes today, you got French toast today, you got eggs. I think that's all of a sudden I can eat it. It's not a problem. I can eat it. And if I won't have it when I'm supposed to have it, all of a sudden then I'll get hungry. That's the difference. Now, even get hungry before the time comes, because you're already thinking about what will be at that time. I won't have it, so I get hungry now, not later. And that's the problem. That's the point of betochen, though, is do you really believe that you're going to have lunch at right time, or you figure this, I don't see anybody in the kitchen, so there's nobody making lunch. Now, it's not my responsibility, so you figure lunch will be ready. Whoever makes it, who cares, right? So therefore, that guy's not going to worry. But what about if I'm the guy who knows I have no one in the kitchen? I get hungry at 11 o'clock. Lunch, okay. Then there's an Indian of what's Leisechsa Kolba. I don't know the Maisa, but that's what it tells us. Eretz, it tells you that the land, nothing's missing there. That means we have raw materials also. Of the world, like Japan. Japan didn't, the Second World War didn't have raw materials. That's why they invaded North Korea, or Korea is in order to get raw materials. China to get raw materials. But Japan had no raw materials. So in order to build airplanes, they used to collect the cans. It sounds crazy, like you're building up from the cans. Yeah, from the cans you built an airplane. Yeah, that's what they did because there was no raw materials. Right? Mostly countries, how do they do business? You do business, I trade you what I have, you trade me what you have, and so on and so forth. And we prove that from the Teichel over there in the Bracha, it says that V'achaltu Yoshen Noishen, V'yoshen Mitnei Chodesh Teitziu. That when you're going to eat Yoshen Noishen. And what do we export? We export Yoshen, which is better than plain wheat. It's a better quality. You get more money for it. We have so much that we can sell that to the world. So therefore we have something to sell that everybody needs all the time, so we always have money. So therefore our economy will be always a better head of everybody else's economy. That's how it works, the economy in the world. Okay. Now, it says here also, the Shivas Oretz. We have the 7 fruits here, Chita, Soira, Geffen, Seina, Rimain, and Zei, Shemen, and Dvosh, right? What's the Shivas Oretz with that? What, I don't understand. I like peaches better than dates, better even than figs. So you're going to come and say, you're going to tell me, no, I gave you figs and stuff. I don't like figs. I want peaches. Right? That's not what it means. It means that every society requires certain things. You require a staple. So we have chita soira. You have a staple for humans and for animals. Okay. You then require a sugar. That's the vash, a sweetener. You need a cooking oil, a fat, right, for taste and stuff like that. That's the olive, right? You need drinks. So you have the light drink, which is the pomegranate, and then you have the fancy drink, which is the iron. Right? The only thing that's the shvach haaretz, that means is that what there is the fig, because the fig is healthy no matter when you eat it and how you eat it. So therefore, it's a healthy fruit. Any other thing, depending if you have shilshul, you have these things, you don't eat it this, you don't eat that. This you don't have that. Then it has that people say that now, that's a very schwere Sache to say. I mean, that people will not realize that the Beinishim is the one that really gives you the panos and stuff like that. You see, you got the job through this mice and through that mice and this thing. But obviously in the day-to-day work a person does, he thinks he's good. And that's why he really has the job and stuff like that. So he tells you that's not you. There's more negayah to using the brain to do it. Let's say your business, as we call it. Not that you're doing a malacha, a job, but you're playing games and how you do it. So that I went to school. I got my MBA, and I got my this and I got my that, and that's what made me smart. No. What happened was you got your MBA, you got your thing there, but the reason that you bought Google at $1 and instead of $1,000 is because I put that idea in your head. That's what Targum says. That the benching, the sitka yos Hashem lekoch. Remember that God gave you the eitzah, the mikneh, to buy the properties. I never got that thing, so God didn't give it. It wasn't just for me to become rich by buying Google. But the one who got it, who found it, not because all of a sudden, I'm so smart, I researched it and I was looking for Google to find it, to invest in and stuff like that. No, he lets me find it. He gives me the idea to buy it. It's a good idea. It's a good thing. So always wondering, thinking as far as Parnasa goes, a lot of people always have a shayla for themselves. I got an opportunity. But by taking the opportunity, God can drown me with it. Because, He's given me an opportunity that I'll invest, and that'll make me lose all my money. Right? So I don't know if it's a bracha or a call what God's taking me to. And we don't know that yet. That's something here, that's something that you have to think about. In other words, are you tzaddik, you're rosh, why would God want to do that to you? I think another thing. That since there's this eitzah, and not everybody gets the same eitzah as another person. I go into this business, you go into that business, and so on and forth. It's a choice that we got. The Beinishim puts that choice into us. It's not that we have a free choice. We don't have that free choice. But l'maisa, we have a choice, and therefore, because he gave us that choice, and he made us want it, I assume it's pretty safe. In other words, if he wants to bury us, he has plenty of ways to bury us. So he doesn't have to give us an idea that we're going to think we're getting rich and then he buries us. He doesn't have to do that. But if he gives me an idea to do something and I want to do it, then do it. Because you got that idea, I didn't get it. And therefore the Beisham wants you to act on it. I think that... Indian of that one, Eikev. Now, Eikev, there's no question, is a Maila. Even though it seems the Benishim's arguing with us, it says that, you think that I chased away the Goyim because you're tzaddikim and they're Rishoyim. No, they're Rishoyim. And you're an Eikev. So you're not doing it for the right motive. You're doing it because you're stubborn, right? Now, that keeps us to do what we want to do. Baruch Hashem, the Golos, all the nations disappeared. We're still around. And if you talk about how they treated the nations, I think the Jews were treated the worst. And they were trying to be eradicated, and people beat them up all the time and everything else. And we're still here. How come? Because we're stubborn. It's obviously, you're not going to stop me from doing what I want to do. I think that it's a wonderful midah. In fact, it keeps us out of trouble. It makes us to do the right thing. But it's not, but since it's a midah, that's how we are, so then it's not a grace of maila. It's not a point to say that I do the mitzvahs because I recognize the maila of the mitzvahs and stuff like that. And I do it because no one's telling me what to do. I'm stubborn. That's not a maila. It's a maila that we don't do averos, but it's not a maila that we do mitzvahs. And therefore, he says that we had this problem. Okay, and he talks about, I want to do it for Grace Chiddush, I think. He talks about being in Har Sinai for Arboim Yom, and then the Beisham told him to go down. They made the Egel, and then he seems to, and he tells you how big an Aveira the Egel was, that even Aron required that he should be mispalel for him, and he helped for half of his kids, right? And after he finished the Egel, then I talk about the Meraglim, and I talk about, where is it, B'Taveira, B'Masa, B'Kivas HaTaiva. He mentions other Averas that we had in the Midbar on the thing there, and then he goes back to being praying for 40 days. When he says it's not powerlessness, so Rashi brings down that he goes back to the Matan Torah, to the Matan Torah and the Egel. I just want to claim something different. I want to say, if you take a look at what is a tiny, you have a difference in the tefillah between the Egel and the Meraglim. One is Ron Lefnechem, and then with B'Sinas Hashem Eschem. That's what I do. Why are you giving me a different reason? Why don't you just keep it the same reason? Now, if the Beisham wants to destroy Klal Yisrael, just tell him. Mitzrayim will say that, that you took him out below. So what do I have to find another reason for? Because if you can use the same reason all the time, you never have to do tshuva. You always have an excuse. Can't be. You gotta grow. So each things I want to destroy you, you need a new tefillah. It's a new tefillah. So the particular tefillah that he's talking about sounds like the tefillah of the Meraglim. So why is it talking about 40 days there? What do you got to be the 40 days? This, and that seems to be about Matan Torah, like Rashi. So I want to tell you how many days did they spy out El Yisrael? 40 days, right? When did Moshe Rabbeinu start praying? When he realized he made a mistake. When was that? The amazing is when somehow later what happened, or as soon as he sent them, he realized he made a mistake, he shouldn't have sent them. And therefore he started praying at that time, and that's the 40 days that he prayed. And that's the prayer that we're up is the prayer of the Meraglim. So the 40 days here does not revert back to the Matan Torah and the Eikev. It reverts to, it talks about the Meraglim Takya. And that's what it means here. Now over here, Aaron says he told him to make the second luchas, and no, but the difference is the first luchas, the Rebbeinu gave him the luchas already made. So the Rebbeinu made the luchas. The second luchas, the Rebbeinu said, I want you to make the luchas. And I want you to make the luchas, but I'll write on it. Okay. That's the difference. Sometimes a person has to get something, just can't come into him like a matone. He has to do some kind of preparation. So that's what he says. That's when they made the second luchas, they lasted. Because first of all, it was not in public. Secondly, it was done that we made what you put an effort into it and so on, and therefore you had success from it. So he said you make the second luchas to make an Aron for it, because even though the Rebbeinu was mitzvah to make the big Aron, but that's going to take time. You have to go collect the money, you have to collect this, you have to collect that. So where are you going to keep the luchas? Why didn't you think about it the first time? And that's not my problem. God's taking care of it, so he'll take care of a place to put it to. That's not my problem. But obviously I'm making it, so therefore he told me make an organ for it. But Rashi says the Yesod over here, I think it's over here, that this is the one that you went to war with. They didn't go to the one, the only time they ever took out the real Ehrem was in the time of Shmuel, of Eili, where Eili gets killed with the Churban of Shiloh is. Right, in other words, okay. So it came, and this is the Ehrem that you keep. So this is the Ehrem, I don't know where they kept it, Kiddushim, maybe, I don't know. But this always had the luchas in it, the broken luchas in it. To say that every time luchas, v'shivre luchas, menochem ba'oren means in the same oren, it could be, I mean, like normal pshat is that way, and they make cheshbonis, how it fits, but the problem that you have is if you want to go out, an empty box doesn't do anything. I assume you must have the shchina, there's something. So the broken luchas is something. So you're going to take them out of the real organ and put it into the second organ and then go out to war with it. It doesn't make sense. So probably you left it that way all the time. So who says it means that we're living in the same organ? Now, we know that you got to give cover to a Talmud Chochem that loses Torah. Why? Because luchas yeshiva luchas menochem ba'oren. But is the same oren or not? That may not be so. That I don't know. Okay. Then he tells you the biggest thing really is that everything happens through Ben Shalom. I mean, the Rambam tries to touch it up, the Gemara and Baruchas and stuff like that. But Emerson, here's what it says. What does God want from you? Only ki'im liyira. Your job is, everything is decided by Kodesh Baruch Hu, what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. But the difference is, do I do it or it happens to me? That's the question. And that's your bechira. So therefore, the matzias is going to happen the same thing. But whether I did it or I didn't do it, that's up to you. Okay, that's the thing. That's what it says.
How do you decide? How do you decide when I should do it and what's
that's always not always a mitzvah, I want to tell you. But that, let's say, okay, this is something, I say it, it's, I feel it emes, but I don't, it's hard to live with originally. My wife died basically through an accident. I mean, she got blood poisoning because of the thing, and maybe she died. But we had to first crash the car. I was driving the car. So I say that the thing is, I'm going to kill my wife. That's a fact. But I kill her by taking a gun and shooting her, stabbing her, or an accident's going to happen. That's going to happen because I refuse to kill her personally. So eventually, but it's going to be through me anyway. That's a fact. That's not going to change. The only difference is my das at the time when I did it, why I wanted to do it. In this particular case, I didn't have any das at the moment because I didn't expect it to happen. But that was I was definitely afraid of it happening because I couldn't stop the car. And there was the brake wasn't working. And so I went into a telephone pole. But the idea is that I was first the driver of the car. She didn't do anything. She was just a passenger. Let me do it. That's what I think it means. Forget this one. It's okay, before. Sometimes you use where you're coming from as identification and something they darshan. Like when they darshan Vayikach, Kairach, Ben Kohos, Ben Levi, right? So each word name is darshaned. It's in there. And obviously not for nice things. Yaakov they don't put down because Yaakov's not involved. Over here, it goes to Reuven by Dosav Aviram, right? Bnei Eliyav, Bnei Reuven. I mean, why are you mentioning Ben Reuven for? Who cares? Right? It's a generation before here, just identification, where they come from. Not blaming Reuven anything over there. And so if they would put Yaakov like that, wouldn't be any problem. But the pshat is when they darshan it, that's what the problem is. Yeah. Yeah. Then it has about Eretz Yisrael. Now Eretz Yisrael is different than Mitzrayim. What's the difference between Eretz Yisrael and Mitzrayim? And the truth is, it's less work. In other words, you have that you're drinking water from the heavens. It's the rains, you have a lot of rainwater and stuff. In Egypt, it didn't rain. So how were you able to plant things? Because you had the Nile. But you had to have irrigation ditches. You have to have the things. There's a lot more physical work that was involved in the thing over there. Over here, you plant it, and it grows. How does it grow? Well, it rains. That's how it grows. Now, you want to make sure you don't want to do it, so you want to make irrigation, that's your problem. But Eretz Yisrael does not require it. And therefore, you don't have too many rivers in Eretz Yisrael. I mean, not the ones that run all the time. And the reason for it is because Einei Hashem is Anet Meresh Shana. It's the same thing as V'yiten L'cha. V'yiten V'choza V'yiten. He doesn't give you in one shot. By Yosef, it says he gives him bracha, which means all in one time. He has one of it. you got $1 billion. So until you become a Rosh enough to lose all the money, it takes time. By Klal Yisrael, I don't give you the $1 billion. I give you only 50 million at a time. You spend it, I'll give you another 50 million. You'll always have, but the difference is you don't have it even when I'm not giving it to you. So it always is, so you always have to be a tzaddik. It's the same thing in Eretz Yisrael. You want Eretz Yisrael to produce, you always have to be a tzaddik. Now you'll say Eretz Yisrael produces now when we're not tzaddikim there. That's because of the first level of tshuva that says that we came back, we're going to do tshuva. Now, we didn't do it yet. That's because we haven't learned Torah yet. We have mostly frei and haven't yet came back, but we're better than we were. And that kavanah of going, that itself brings the bracha. The beginning of Vash and the Tzovim of Shlishi. Parshas Shiur. So you have over there how it works. Then it has V'hoyim Shemoya is in this parsha. And here comes in the first lotion of the whole Leches B'chol Drochov, which is going to become a big inyan between Koil and not Koil. The Leches B'Drochov and the Leches B'chol Drochov. Here's the first time I think we see this lotion. We see it once before maybe, and I'm not sure, but this I think is the Eikev one, where it starts with this, that there's a big difference when you do all his mitzvahs or you do his mitzvahs. And we'll go into it in Parshas Yosef. That's where it really has that chilik, klo, a mitzvah and kol a mitzvah. It's over here also. That's the point. And the difference is if you do kol a mitzvahs, we're zeichet to everything in the world. That we get all the big schusim, or when we do kol, only mitzvahs, we only get, we're never outstanding. We get bracha, but not outstanding. We're on top, not on the bottom. But not necessarily maybe we will be, that we will be we're the bosses. Here it says we will be the bosses. And then there's a inyan of kol mokum shetitlechav kaf raglechem. Wherever you step, that becomes yours. That besides what the Rebbe Shem gave us. So the chelik of God Reuven is a chelik that we stepped on. Became ours. Came where Yoel took and Nevach took, and then what do you call it? So those things, and those are extra pieces of land, but they have the din of Eretz Yisrael. That's Kaf. And then there's the part that I gave you, because that's Eretz Yisrael, and therefore So anyway, have a good Shabbos, everybody. I have my grandson, my great-grandson's ufuf the Shabbos, so I'm going to be away. Be well, everybody.
Shabbos, mazel tov.
Simcha. Thank you. Thank you. How she wasn't on?
She was.
She was?
Yeah. She was, yeah.